The Euro 2024 qualifiers live on Talksport.
5 to kick off, still waiting for the teams to come out, and I've got to say the ground is filling up really nicely, and Stuart Pearce, we've been welcomed here in Malta, and sometimes it's not always the case when England go away.
No, it's not. As I say, we report every bad incident that happens on the road with our supporters and with the home fans, if you like, but I tell you what, I must commend the Maltese people. Have been absolutely so welcoming, friendly. It's been fantastic here on the ground, and the England fans certainly leading into the game today and in the stadium and all round it. The atmosphere amongst both sets of fans has been absolutely fantastic. So well done, everybody concerned.
Yeah, echo that totally. Brilliant atmosphere, huge flags being flown by the Malta fans. They know they're going to lose this game probably, but they still turned out in their numbers to support their team, and they support them very well. As I say, the ultras in the corner really get behind their team, and they're going to give them all the support they could possibly give them. Same away to our left, the England fans. There's a few empty seats in there actually, maybe some latecomers might be thinking it's an 8 o'clock kickoff, but those flags and banners draped all over the away end, the early ones that were put up: Scunthorpe, Sheffield Wednesday, Derby, Gloucester City, Wolves, even Borussia Dortmund, and a St George flag which simply said across the middle, no matter how far those England fans, those core, hardcore England fans, 4,000 of them and more here in Malta this week, support their team loud and proud, home and away. And it's good to see the Malta fans away to our right doing exactly the same. And so we get to the national anthems, with the first, the national anthem of England, who stand behind their George Cross as the Malta players stand behind the Malta flag with the George Cross top left, white and red halves. Magnificently sung, a boy of about 9 or 10 years old in an England shirt singing the English national anthem, and so too the home anthem, the Maltese national anthem, titled the Maltese Hymn. Sensational. That's a young Maltese girl giving it the full beans for the national anthem. That's one of the best renditions of a national anthem I think I've ever heard at a football match. Magnificent, and the crowd absolutely loved it. The Maltese fans, huge tifo opposite us in the Millennium stand. A large Maltese shirt away to our left as well, and streamers and shiny stickers all being shown by the Maltese fans away to our right as well. What a setting this is for a European Championship qualifier. Less than a year until Euro 2024 kicks off in Munich. England need to make sure they get there, and tonight they have a chance to make it 3 wins from 3 in qualifying Group C. England don't need any Maltese faltering tonight. It's bottom of the group Malta against top of the group England. It's live on Talksport with former England captain Stuart Pearce alongside your commentator Jim Proudfoot.
Thank you, Adrian. Welcome to Tahali for only the 6th meeting of Malta and England, and a fixture that takes Gareth Southgate back to a game where it all began nearly 7 years ago. The Maltese, the first opponents of his reign, 3rd successive match in which the Three Lions had had a different manager after Iceland and Allardyce, where stability and improvement were desperately needed. And both have been delivered over the ensuing years, along with a Nations League semi-final, a World Cup quarter and semi, and that nearest of near misses in the Euros. It was this week last year that provided the lowest ebb. The Hungarian humiliation on the night the Lions were picked apart at the Wolves, and the response to that over the last 12 months has seen optimism reborn within the England camp. Qatar and Naples, the standout examples that the sense of direction has been restored. And it could be a year tonight that England start their European Championship campaign. 15 points will be enough to get out of this group. 6 are in the bag already. 6 more can be garnered over the next 4 days. Failure to win here would constitute a major shock. The Maltese have lost their last 11 European qualifiers. They've only won 4 in their history. And the club equivalent of the teams ranked 5th and 172nd in the world is Liverpool, away to Stourbridge. Now, that town's most famous son's absent tonight. Jude Bellingham's injuries ruled him out of the trip. Lewis Dunk's denied a first cap since 2018. He too is injured. And Trent Alexander-Arnold's recall in midfield for his first start in over a year is the headline selection. So it's Pickford in goal, Trippier, Guehi, Maguire and Shaw, Alexander-Arnold, Rice and Henderson, Saka, Kane and Maddison. The bench includes the 5 Manchester City players in the squad: Walker, Stones, Phillips, Grealish and Foden, along with Mings, Eze, Gallagher, Rashford and Wilson, and keepers Ramsdale and Johnston. For Malta, Bonello in goal, and Bong, Steve Borge, Zach Muscat, Arpap and Attard, Goulamie, Christensen and Toma, with Jones, off and Woko up top. Well, from a narrow away win in the 70s to a pre-Euro 2000 friendly in which they needed a late penalty save to get over the line, Malta away is a fixture that has never brought the best out of England. Three Lions' last win here came amidst a chorus of discontent from the travelling fans. So can they deliver a performance as well as a result back in Tahali tonight? England kicking from right to left in this first half. And it's Jordan Henderson that's in possession inside his own half. England in white shirts and dark blue shorts. Malta red shirts and white shorts. On the front foot from the kickoff, and England have got possession back. It is a night where they're going to have the majority of the ball, expected to be in the mid-70s or so. Harry Maguire's name booed when the teams were read out earlier, and booed again by the Maltese supporters when he's in possession in these early stages. Saka laying it off on the right-hand side for Trippier. And now to be played down towards Mark Guehi, whose last start for England was in that 4-0 defeat to Hungary a year ago this week. Here's Maguire again, as the boos will tell you, just bringing the ball under control inside his own half. And the England player, Stuart Pearce, is getting a feel of it in the early stages, not really making any progress, they're just taking the early sting out of the game.
Yeah, the Maltese have dropped back into that wedge, if you like, of a 5-3-2. They'll be very, very difficult to break down. And they've got that counter-attack threat, having two players up front. One of them will just drop back slightly deeper, I'm sure, just to look to link things on the counter-attack. But they're certainly a well-drilled team, and if you look at their results recently, they don't lose by many goals.
Yeah, beaten here 2-0 by Italy, but it could have been a very different story. They were quick out of the traps that night and should really have been a goal up inside 4 minutes. They're in possession, are England now on the left-hand side of midfield, and James Maddison's gone down after a strong challenge from Goulamie. It'll be a free kick which will be taken by England about 15 yards inside Maltese territory.
Yeah, I think for England's point of view, it'd be important they move the ball very quickly. If they're stagnant, the way they move the ball across the back, it'll suit Malta. They'll get back into shape. They'll slide across the pitch. The space they're going to have is in these full-back areas and wide areas. and probably the best way to exploit Malta is to switch it very quickly if they possibly can, and then try to get overloads in wide areas that starts dragging people out wide.
Maddison back on his feet, preferred to Marcus Rashford in the starting lineup tonight. England taking the free kick, working it back inside their own half for Maguire. He's winning his 56th cap tonight, starting a 10th successive game. All played out towards the far touchline. The England right just went over the line, and it's out of play for a throw that will be taken by Attar over on that far touchline. Ordinarily a centre half, but playing on the left of the back five this evening. And he's in possession again, trying to turn. He's put under immediate pressure by Declan Rice. The ball has come off him, gone out of play for a throw taken by the Maltese, and we're back inside their own penalty area for the captain Borge. Now to Arpap, and down towards the impressive Mbong, the right back. And he's bought a throw off Luke Shaw, which will be taken midway inside the Maltese half. You win Talksport, early stages of the game. Still 3.5 gone 0-0.
Yeah, it's a good point you made pre-game. The ranking of Malta, you can tell it's a false ranking. The way they move the ball, the way they receive the ball, it's certainly not of a team ranked in the late 170s.
The Nations League has done them a massive favour because it has developed a winning mentality. Okay, they're only getting those victories against teams of a similar kind of ranking and stature in the world, but they are now winning competitive internationals, which is something they've not really been able to do through their history. I mean, to put that in perspective, they've played 220 qualifiers in their history. They've won 7. But the Nations League has given them the opportunity to win more than they lose in that particular competition, and Marcolini has done such a good job. The players really buying into what he has done in his brief tenure. It's only his 4th game in charge tonight. The ELO rankings, which are possibly a slightly more accurate system than the FIFA World Rankings, as we mentioned before, they're up in the 140s in that, and probably even that is a little bit lower, though they can expect to make a few more strides. But they're on the back foot here, with England winning a throw, which will be taken by Luke Shaw. Shaw electing to go all the way back to Gurhey, controlling it inside his own half, just inviting Malta to try and push forward a little bit, condense the play in midfield, give England an opportunity to be able to play through. Trent Alexander-Arnold's got it on the right-hand side, and it's a good dynamic marauding run forward from him. Not the worst ball in either, and Arpap is forced to come back and headed away from the edge of the 6-yard box for the first corner of the match. Yeah,
Trent Alexander working from that sort of tucked-in right side of a free midfield. He'll get licence to either go forward and join the strike force, or alternatively go out wide and peel out wide, as he did just then. And a really great run, and as you would expect from him, once he got in advanced areas, put a good ball in a dangerous area.
Now, defending set pieces is an area where Malta can struggle. This ball has caught the wind, swings to the edge of the area, and England players Maguire went down inside the box. Play goes on. Kane has it now, left-hand side of the area, and he stung the palms of the goalkeeper, who initially couldn't get a hold of it, Bonello, but was judged to have had it in his grasp when England tried on the follow-up to be able to knock it in, and the free kick has been given his way.
Yeah, I think the winds played a really big part in that. As I say, it was an outswinger, but as all the players come into the box, literally the ball's caught the wind and ended up on the edge of the box near enough. England done well to recycle it, and then Kane's effort was parried, and Maguire is adjudged to have fouled the goalkeeper.
They reckon the wind speed is mid-20s in terms of miles per hour tonight, and it's a swirling breeze. But if anything, it's in Malta's favour rather than England's. That's an excellent flick on from Iwobi. Jody Jones, the Notts County man, laying it down towards Mbong on the Maltese right. Turned inside, an opportunity to bring it forward here for Toma. The idea of the pass was right. Pickford came out. It was dealt with in front of him by Pickford, by Trippier, I beg your pardon, as they try to get Attard in. But now with him having pushed forward, England can make ground down the right. That was a good strong run, which got them to the edge of the penalty area by Saka. And it's out of play for an England throw on that far side. But they do have a little bit about them going forward, Malta, more than you might expect.
No doubt about that, Jim. As I said, from the early stages, the way they manipulate the ball, the movement, the passing, and the confidence on the ball that this team have, they're certainly no duck eggs. That's a technical term.
Yeah, I like that. No zeros. Here's Maguire, ball out for a throw. A couple of early goals. Gibraltar 0, France 1, Andorra 0, Switzerland 1. We'll keep you up to date with the goals as they go in from both Cardiff and Copenhagen tonight. Wales in action at home to Armenia. Denmark taking on Northern Ireland. The other game in this group, North Macedonia against Ukraine. They're all 0-0, so is this one.
Just looking at the two central defenders, Gahey playing on the right-hand side, Maguire on the left. Are you surprised at that?
As Sack will chase the ball down the right-hand side of the area, and Kane is there to fire it in. It's only taken England 8 minutes to find the breakthrough. The last touch actually might have been Apap sweeping up in front of Harry Kane, trying to stop him getting a touch to turn it in, and he did the job for him. But all the plaudits to Bukayo Saka racing down the right-hand side of the penalty area as it's worked into his direction by Alexander-Arnold. He's onside. And as he played it in, Kane was waiting, and Apap just in an attempt to clear the ball and put it over his own bar, but only kick it into the roof of the net. 8 minutes gone, and it's Malta 0, England 1.
Well, already in these early stages, Jim, we've got Trent Alexander put a good cross in the box that forced the corner, and on that occasion, as the ball come to him in central midfield, he's helped it round the corner. A fantastic ball for Saka. Saka's run was absolutely magnificent, and when he slid it across the face of the goal, defender Pap under pressure from Kane, and England in front. Fantastic start for the boys.
A goal scored by a player who had a very brief spell playing in England, Ferdinando Apap. It was with FC Sheffield in level 8 at one stage, the oldest football club, playing against England's national team, and he's put through his own net to give England the perfect start. A goal up here inside 9 minutes. Last time, or the penultimate time these two sides met here, is England's Richard Wright, who scored an own goal in this fixture as a penalty from Karabot came back off the post, hit him on the back of the head and then went in. It's the only goal Malta have ever scored against England. England on the front foot here towards the edge of the box. Alexander-Arnold not helped by the positioning of the referee. Can play it down towards Shaw. And Kane on the left-hand side of the box, back for Shaw again. Now Maddison will be able to take over. Kane working it to his right. Jordan Henderson almost in a shooting position, and he's laid it to his left once more. And England stringing the passes together. Declan Rice out to the right-hand side, and so Wales take the lead. We'll get details of that goal in a moment, but they're leading Armenia 1-0. Gurhey back to Luke Shaw. Shaw the slightly heavy touch, and he'll work it back inside his own half again for Mark Gurhey. So let's get news of that Wales goal from Talksport's Lawrence Moran.
Yeah, Wales 1, Armenia 0. Dan James at the back post has fired in after Brennan Johnson skipped down the right and put an inch perfect cross across the box. It's Wales 1, Armenia 0.
Thank you, Lawrence. It's Maddison for England who lead by a goal to nil. Alexander-Arnold with good quick feet in the midfield, rides a couple of challenges and knocked away from him by Toma in the end, and then Jones tries to help it on, and then Rice was there to clear. Alexander-Arnold wearing 10 for England this evening, just playing it back for Gurhey. Now Alexander-Arnold once more, just a little bit too much on the ball forward for Harry Kane. Going back to the point you were making just before the goal about Gurhey and Maguire, who both naturally for their clubs would rather play on the left, and it's Maguire that has got the nod to do that this evening. I take it from your question that you yourself are surprised.
Just that Gurhey being the younger of the two, if you like, you know, and used to playing on that side. I don't know whether I would have sort of put him in that role on the left-hand side to make him a little bit more comfortable and offer Harry sort of the other position, if you like. But as I say, both of them have settled in rather nicely in this game anyway, fielding the ball and setting up attacks. Just going back to Trent Alexander there, he overhit that pass, but I would encourage that. Keep saying to him, look, don't play safe. Look to try and exploit the back line.
And he's got it again now, and he's played it out towards Saka inside the penalty area, and he, on the turn, has hit a curling effort over the junction of post and bar. And it sails over the hoardings and onto the running track in front of the England goal. The England fans away to our left-hand side. The other thing about that Alexander-Arnold ball that was overhit, it's very difficult to judge the breeze. You've seen a corner that the wind blew back about 5 yards further adrift to the edge of the penalty area. So if you're trying to just weight one over the top and it will catch the breeze, you've got to try and take that into account. So it's very difficult for a midfielder to hit a lofty ball in these conditions. Malta in possession on halfway. England leading 1-0. And Bond coming in off the right flank, only about 5 yards or so. He's played it back for Pap. Now Steve Borge. It's interesting that the three centre-halves that Malta are playing tonight all started the game against Italy, but they didn't play this way round. It's Borge that's in the middle sweeping, and Muscat on the left, Pap on the right. And none of the three were in that position the last time they played as a defensive unit. Here's Pap, the scorer of the own goal. Play form from him. Gulamier just trying to tease one up in the air. Gave him Bong little opportunity. Shaw will come in strongly, heads it away. Out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Maltese right-hand side. 13 minutes in here on Talksport. Coming up on Monday, England's final game of the season at home to North Macedonia. It's at Old Trafford. A 7 o'clock build-up for a 7:45 kick-off. Then, here tonight, they lead 1-0.
Yeah, they do. Just looking at the matchup, Saka versus Attard, the left wing back, he seems to have got the measure of him, and that seems to be an area that England can exploit. Certainly when you consider Trent Alexander in that sort of area, just behind him can supply passes, certainly to spinning behind, as we saw from the goal.
So on a Pap own goal here, Dan James has given Wales the lead. Still 0-0 in the other game in this group between North Macedonia and Ukraine. England will be 6 points clear of Italy if they can win tonight. The Italians not in action this week because they've been playing in the Nations League in the Netherlands, where they were beaten by Spain last night. So we're playing the Netherlands in the 3rd and 4th place playoff on Sunday. Jody Jones taking the ball and controlling it neatly. Good ball retention from him there, laying it back from Mbong. Good switch of play from him out of the left, but it's a commanding header from Trippier. Starting at right back tonight, he's been right back and left back in almost equal amounts over the last 2-3 years in an England shirt. Maguire in strongly, heading the ball away from Gulamier. Toma is in there, headed away by Steve Borge on the edge of his own penalty area, and brought under control in the midfield by Henderson. Henderson sending it out to the England right-hand side. Alexander-Arnold with a clever little drop of the shoulder. He's revelling in this role so far. He's had a really good start with 15 minutes gone and England leading 1-0.
Yeah, he certainly is. He's found a position to get on the ball. That was the most important thing. Can he find space to receive? When he has received, he's looked to turn and play forward. So it's a really positive start from Trent Alexander.
Shaw laying it back for Maguire. England with 65% of the possession so far. Just one shot on target, which was a Harry Kane effort that the goalkeeper was able to save. Rice has it in the midfield. He's about 10 yards inside Maltese territory. And Knight has fallen here in the centre of the island. And the floodlights doing their job to pierce the pitch black skies. Gurhey forward towards Rice. Inside the centre circle. And towards Trent Alexander-Arnold again. It is tonight only the 7th time he's played for England in their last 37 internationals. But if this is an experiment that works, you wonder whether there'll be another significant piece of the jigsaw that might just have dropped into place.
Yeah, and we're just looking, the weakness of this formation of Malta is the midfield three have got to slide across the pitch quickly, and if England move the ball from side to side, which they've done, we've just seen it just there again. The likes of Trent Alexander pulls a little bit wide on the opposite side and is just receiving the ball in space because the midfield three have got too much distance to make up if England are moving the ball quickly enough.
And the Republic of Ireland are trailing in Greece by a goal to nil. Bakasetas with a penalty there. Still Wales lead, and Northern Ireland 0-0 Parken against Copenhagen. England a goal to the good in this game, the 6th meeting of these two nations, and England have won each of the previous 5. Record that stretches back to 1971, the first ever meeting of the two, which was but not at this stadium. It was at another east of here. England won on a pitch described as the worst on which an England international has ever taken place. They got the job done there, 1-0, won the return game 5-0. This recent meeting of the two here, ending in a 4-0 victory for England, but they were only one up in that game with 5 minutes to go. Gareth Southgate joking in his interview with you yesterday that not too many of the England fans saw goals 2, 3 and 4 because they'd grown tired of booing the team by then and they'd all gone down to the pub.
I think he actually turned around and said the fans turned up and booed the team and went home booing the team.
Times have changed. Almost at the end of his 6th full season in charge of the England national team. That has gone very quick. Here's Shaw. It's back for Maguire. And Maguire across the back line for Gurhey. He's got 51 of his 83 internationals, Gareth Southgate. All over on the far side for England with Kieran Trippier. Newcastle man, forward towards Declan Rice. Turning it easily towards Maguire. Maguire playing it briskly. Forward between the lines. Oh, Henderson, lovely control. Hits one with the top of the foot out towards Saka. Attard has cleared it, but that was a lovely piece of play. Good ball from Maguire. And Henderson took it so sweetly. And it's a sublime pass from him. Yeah,
that was trademark, really, what England need to do. Switch it from one side to the other, then back again. That went through the middle with Henderson. And then when it gets out in the wide areas, that's when the quick overload and the quick attack should start.
Ball out for another England throw, which Trippier will go across the take. 19 minutes gone. England leading by a goal to nil, but there's been another goal in Cardiff, Lawrence.
Taziki has fired it into the roof of the net. It's a great volley, right-footed, from a super cross as well. And Armenia are level. It's Wales 1, Armenia 1.
Thank you very much. 1-1 there. Henderson playing it inside the penalty area. It's cleared. And our Pap will knock it further away. Jones then trying to get there ahead of Maguire, but he just used his body to shepherd the ball over the line. Such a good story for Jody Jones. Born in Bow in East London. Started his career with Dagenham, where he's really highly regarded. Then nearly 100 matches for Coventry, including 9 games in the Championship. But injury struck 3 ACLs, as Adrian was explaining in the build-up to the game. Didn't spell at Oxford, and now at Notts County, where he scored the 120th minute winner for them in the National League playoff semi-final, part of the side that has won promotion back into the league. Hasn't seen too much of the ball so far. Jody Jones, Felice Jones, as he has on the back of his shirt. Maltese descent, but as I mentioned, born in the East End of London. It's England that lead here, 20 minutes gone, 1-0. Ball played forward. Out to the England right-hand side again for Saka. Shown inside by Attard. Ball just in behind Alexander-Arnold's run. Toba's going to be able to get it away. Brought under control, though, in the midfield by Luke Shaw. And England have it once more with Rice. A little drop of the shoulder, trying to get him away from Nwoko, who scored the winner for Malta in their most recent game, which was a 1-0 friendly victory in Luxembourg last Friday. Nwoko off the bench and rewarded for that goal with a place in the starting lineup tonight, where he's replaced Tariana. Maguire, 20 yards outside the penalty area, chipping it square, brought under control by Trippier. And Malta defending in a disciplined and regimented manner, shuffling across. And England perhaps lacking a little bit of tempo in moments like this, but as Maguire plays the ball forward here, Maddison is caught. And it's a free kick in a good position for England. It's about 8 yards outside the penalty area, predominantly left of centre, with an opportunity for a right-footed shot.
Yeah, if you're just trying to paint a picture for where the space is for England, the point of the box either side, if you draw a line down the pitch from there, if you move the ball from one side to the other quite quickly, you might have to do it 2 or 3 times. As long as you do it with some form of pace, you'll slide the Maltese press across, and then you'll get that space in those areas, literally a line up the pitch from the point of the box. On that occasion, it was Maguire who drifted into that area. We've seen Trent do it, we've seen Trips do it as well.
Well, the goalkeeper, Henry Bonello, has lined up a 4-man wall. He's just got his shoulder down on the right-hand post. His right-hand post, just to make sure that wall is in the right position. As he looks at that quartet of players, he's got Harry Kane on the left. So Malta have put the fullback and Bong in behind Kane. So if Kane peels away, there won't be a space for England to try and hit. In terms of the England attacking options standing over it, there are 4. Alexander-Arnold vacates the scene. Maddison might be the favourite here. Trippier has also departed. And it might be left for James Maddison to try and bend one in right-footed. That is the plan. Good strike, but straight to the goalkeeper. Showing him that part of the goal. He only really had to make a quick step across to his right-hand side to be able to bring the ball under control, make the save. He's then punted it upfield as quickly as possible. But in doing so, he's missed the striker and Woko by about 20 yards. And he just runs through for Jordan Pickford, who's just had what's, I think, only his first or second touch of the night. We're at the midway stage of the first half here at Takali. And it's still Malta 0, England 1 after that Papone goal on 9 minutes.
Yeah, I think England and Gareth will be quite pleased with the start. They've been pretty effective with the movement of the ball. I think you'll see where the space is now. The trick of the game is now to run the legs off the Maltese players and then start exploiting these wide area spaces to deliver the ball into the box from.
Trippier. Just towards the edge of the centre circle. Back for Mark Gurhey. He's guaranteed a better night in an England shirt than the last one he had. Gurhey still only 22 and has had another excellent season for Crystal Palace. Trippier plays it forward, but claps his hands in frustration once he's got the angle wrong on the pass, a little bit too straight. England trying to win it back over on the far touchline with Kane. Kane bustling and not quite winning a corner. Borges across. And it's done well to find Attar down by the corner flag, who can play forward. Woko trying to hold it up. He's got Jones ahead of him. He's the only player in support. England doing well to win it back in that very congested midfield area. But Malta again can get enough red shirts in the way and might be able to launch a counter-attack here. It's Jones. He's got Mbong making his way to his right. Slipped up to Gilamier. Now Mbong will be able to bring it in. Back for Jody Jones again towards the edge of the area. Maddison has come back and has tackled in fairly. Helps Jones back to his feet as play continues. And now Maddison can bring it under control, and Harry Maguire will be able to clear from inside his own penalty area, where Alexander-Arnold was waiting for it. It was a slightly difficult one for him to control, and he felt that he was fouled in the process. And that's taken any sting out of a potential England counter-attack, but he's not lost possession, and England will be able to build the next phase of play with Shaw down the left-hand side.
Yeah, I think the pleasing thing about Trent Alexander-Arnold is when he has received the ball, and if you're a more defensive player going into midfield, is the ability to turn is not always there. He certainly showed the ability to know what's around him and get on the half turn.
Not the first time that he has played in there for England. It last happened in a 4-0 victory against Andorra back in 2021. He was had about 20 minutes in that midfield position on the right of a midfield three in a 7-0 win against North Macedonia back prior to that, I think in 2019. So it's something that Gareth Southgate's had in his mind in the past. It didn't really work too well in that Andorra game. Trent came off inside the opening minutes of the second half, but he's really settled in there tonight. Of course, he doesn't play quite in that role for Liverpool, but spends much more time in a more advanced position now in the centre than he ever has done before, so maybe that has just aided things from that point of view with the familiarity that's there now. He's done well to help win the ball back for England. Maguire will play it forward, but he's missed Harry Kane. Now to be mopped up by Mbong. The right back to his goalkeeper Bonello, and they'll play out from the back and fire Borge. 26 gone here on Talksport. England leading 1-0 very, very comfortable.
Yeah, Jody Jones looks like the one for Malta who's a bit lively on the turnover of possession. He's the one that England have got to make sure that they have someone around him if Malta turn the ball over and stop him getting turned, because he is lively, he's quick, and he's got good ball control.
27 minutes in. That's a throw which will be taken by Shaw. Just in front of the Maltese technical area where Coach Marcolini stands in his suit and his white t-shirt and trainers. Mexican wave goes around the Millennium stand on the far side from here. It's Kane works it down towards Luke Shaw. Shaw put under pressure by Mbong. Henderson back for Gurhey. The boo is for the England fans not playing as far as the Mexican wave is concerned. Had nothing to do with it at all. Henderson's got it again in the midfield. A little exchange of passes between him and Maddison. Now goes back for Maguire. Maguire through the centre circle. Oh, great play by Maddison. A drop of the shoulder. He'll take it on. Slightly heavy touch. But it will break for Alexander-Arnold here. Pings one in. That is a great strike to give England a 2-0 lead. And he deserves that. It's been such an excellent start to his night. And 28 minutes in, he's found the net from 25 yards. A goal of real quality. Malta 0, England 2. Trent Alexander with only his second goal for his country.
Well, Jim, he's been the standout player of this first 28 minutes or so. Wonderful finish. Ball broke to him on the edge of the box, and you know he looks at that whip across the body into the far corner. Fantastic finish, but Maddison set it up with letting the ball run. Good turn, bit loose with his pass, but when it comes to Trent Alexander-Arnold, what a finish that was. And I think it'd be important to talk about maybe the treatment of him with Gareth, because there was a big clamour for people to get him in the England team when his form at club level wasn't good enough, and there was other England players playing better than he was. Now he's kept him involved. He's obviously spoke with the lad as well, and credit to Trent, he's not thrown his toys out of the pram in any way, shape or form, and he's got an opportunity to stake a claim, and he's certainly showing that he can play in that midfield role.
Well, he went to the World Cup, of course, and he only saw 35 minutes of action in the World Cup. That was against Wales. He's got it again now. He's pulled it back towards the edge of the area. Kane leaving it for Maddison. Heavy challenge on in, and a shot comes in, which the keeper has parried, and then Kane follows up and wins a penalty. Well, the goalkeeper's handling has let him down on a couple of occasions tonight. And as soon as Bonello parried it, everybody chased inside the penalty area. Goulamier coming back, trying to make a challenge, and he's brought Harry Kane down. Tackled from the wrong side. Kane had nudged it past him. Easy decision for the Croatian referee. And with half an hour gone, England will have a penalty to make it 3-0.
Well, I'll tell you what, from a bright start from Malta early on, England have made this look a very, very comfortable evening's work so far after half hour. Two quick-fire, well, hopefully two quick-fire goals, the ball on the penalty spot. We shouldn't prejudge with Harry Kane, I'm sure. But some really good play and really quick movements of the ball and speed of thought.
Kane clearly is going to be the penalty taker. Has scored in each of his last 4 internationals, his best since 2019 when he netted in 6 in a row. Can he make it 5 in a row here? Stands, that familiar address of the ball, and hits it past goalkeeper Bonello for his 56th goal for his country. What an excellent start this has been for England, who lead by 3-0.
Well, absolute perfection by England. The manager will be delighted with his start to the summer campaign. And I think Harry there just waited for the goalie to move, just chipped down the middle. Really comfortable finish. Little curler with his right foot.
So England lead by 3-0. Ireland have an equaliser in Greece through Nathan Collins. But Armenia lead in Wales, Lawrence Moran.
Wales 1, Armenia 2, and it is a shock for the Welsh as Grant Leon Ranos has headed home at the back post. There was a beautiful little clip cross to the back post, and there was the number 17 to head home. This game turned on its head after Dan James's early goal. Wales 1, Armenia 2.
So not a good night there at the moment for Rob Page's men. Great night for Gareth Southgate though here. 3 goals to the good. 31 minutes on the clock. Kane has it again and was caught there by Borge. and free kick which England will take inside the centre circle. Just going back to the second goal, Maddison with the setup, fantastic finish by Trent Alexander-Arnold for it. The two players you would probably think the men with the most to prove for England tonight on an individual basis in the eyes of the manager.
Yeah, I totally agree. They're the two that have got to say, hang on a minute, from Trent's point of view.
As Kane tries to play it in and almost slipped it perfectly into the path of Saka. Just on the stretch, he couldn't bring it under control. Had he done so, it probably would have ended up being 4. Might have been, no, I think he was onside looking at the replay. Thought it was close. I think Saka had timed his run to perfection, but Kane just missed him.
Yeah, going back to your point there, without a doubt, I mean, Trent's playing in a position that he gets into playing for his club, but he doesn't actually start in that position as a midfield player for England. And he's certainly had an incredible start to this game. The first 30-odd minutes, he's been the standout player. But Maddison as well. Maddison sort of has been floating around it a little bit and has been on the outside to people like Sterling and Rashford and whatever. So it's brilliant that he's had a solid start to the game as well.
Now, one of the interesting selections tonight, Maddison in place of Rashford. It'll be interesting to see what happens with the game at Old Trafford on Monday, whether Gareth had a preconceived idea that he would start Maddison tonight and then Rashford on home turf then. We'll find out together. That game live for you on Talksport this coming Monday with the build-up at 7 and a 7:45 kick-off. The teams will be out at just before 6:30, and you will hear them first here on Talksport. Toma in the midfield. Player who plays his club football in the top flight in Belgium, where he's made around 80 appearances. He's one of the players with pedigree in this Maltese side, and shaven-headed midfielder has it now. Played for, and Rocco couldn't get it under control. Gurhey watching him every step of the way anyway. And that's another rare touch for Jordan Pickford, who will sense, I think, at this moment that a 26th clean sheet of his international career may well be forthcoming. Just had to move a little bit more briskly there as Shaw played a quick back pass to him. But England work it through the thirds and get it into Alexander-Arnold's feet in the midfield. Now it goes to Trippier. Back again to the goalkeeper, Pickford. Pickford controlling it, laying it down towards Shaw. And that defensive discipline we saw in the early stages for Malta, they're finding that a little bit harder to come by now. There are times when England will have it, they've lost their shape, and there's a lot more space for England to be able to exploit in several disparate areas of the field.
Yeah, I think there's two ways of exploiting the Maltese team. I think you've either, on the turnover, go quickly, or alternatively, let them drop off, let them get into a set shape, and then move the ball from left to right and vice versa on a couple of occasions to exploit the wide areas.
Saka into the feet of Kane, back again towards Saka, who did well to get a shot in on the turn. He hooked his right leg around it. He was caught in the process. Ball ends up in the hands of the goalkeeper. It's a clever little reverse nutmeg pass from Kane. And the challenge coming in from Zach Muscat. And has caught Saka ominously just on the ankle, and he's down, still down, in pain, and he needed a little bit of treatment.
This is a strange one. I didn't see a lot in that challenge. I don't know if it's worth, we can get some eyes on it again, but certainly he's in some pain there, and this isn't good.
Well, the England medical staff are just attending to him. He's lying on his back inside the penalty area. It was Zach Muscat that was coming in with the challenge. Saka had started the move himself, a little 1-2 between him and Kane.
I think he's caught him. We're looking at the replay on a couple of occasions there, and he's caught him, but it doesn't look as bad as you would think. Sometimes you can see the ankle roll or that type of thing, but on that occasion I certainly couldn't. But he's certainly feeling this.
Well, England clearly aren't going to be taking any risks in a game where they're already 3-0 up with 36 minutes gone, and if there's any doubt whatsoever about Saka, then he'll come off and they will make a change. The options that England have on the bench, incidentally, Walker, Stones and Mings defensively, Phillips and Gallagher, and then Eze, Foden, Grealish, Rashford, Wilson, all attacking options, as well as the goalkeepers Ramsdale and Johnston. Saka will make his way off the field under his own steam and out towards the far touchline, which suggests that they certainly think he's got a chance of being able to continue. He hasn't come down towards this near side where the dugouts are, but they'll continue to assess it. Gareth Southgate will be delighted with the way that everything's gone so far. Apart from that moment, it's been almost the perfect night for him.
Yes, it has. It's been super, really, and Gareth will be delighted if he can keep Marcus off the pitch, you know, give Marcus a rest, because that's good management. We know he's talked about being rested a lot and playing too many games, so maybe he's thinking to himself, I'll keep you on the substitutes bench for another 5 years.
England just on the back foot. Bong playing it down towards Jones. He couldn't get it to stick. Slightly heavy touch from him. One back by Shaw. Shaw tried to buy the throw. It didn't come off as the ball didn't go off the island, and then the retreating Maguire makes a challenge on Joseph Mbong and concedes a free kick. Mbong actually started the season playing in Israeli football, but came back to Malta where he was brought up. He's of Nigerian descent, but his father was a professional footballer here in Malta in the 90s and noughties. And Mbong and his little brother both have international experience. His little brother's not in this squad. It's Maguire on the edge of his own penalty area. Finds Mark Gurhey. 38 minutes gone. Malta 0, England 3. With an early own goal from Ferdinando Apap, added to by the excellent Trent Alexander-Arnold, and then 3 minutes later Harry Kane dispatched the penalty that he himself won after a foul by Gulamia. Rice has the ball in the midfield and is able to turn. Lays it out towards the right for Saka, who's back on and in a position to continue. Still not moving with a huge amount of comfort by the look of it on the far side. It looks a little bit like we did walking up that hill from the port earlier.
Yeah, but we had 14 course dinners, to be fair, Jim.
That might have had something to do with it. Gurhey down towards Shaw. Shaw will play down to the England left-hand side for Henderson. Henderson back from Maguire. You did find an excellent restaurant. The most notable thing was, apart from sensational food, was the fact that it was run by a player who played for Malta against England back in 1971. And had great stories to tell as well. A fantastic raconteur, as well as being a fantastic restaurateur.
Yeah, he certainly was. As I say, his debut was against England in 71. Luigi, I don't know whether it's spelt pace, but I think it's passe pronunciation, but certainly was a great host and a great storyteller. Said that the first time he ever wore studs was at Wembley on his debut, which is an incredible story really for a professional.
Now you'd thought they'd have at least had a go the previous night.
Well, exactly.
It's Gurhey, forward towards Henderson. 5-0 England won that one, and they'll be fancying that they can make this their biggest ever victory against Malta tonight. 3 up already. Shaw towards the edge of the penalty area. Madison trying his luck with a shot that hit Terma on the edge of the box. Then it'll be played forward again, and Madison wins it back. Madison flicking it onto his left foot. Knocking it square for Henderson. Try to open it up. Too many bodies to navigate past. Plays it in towards Rice instead. Alexander-Arnold making a good third man run, but Kane couldn't turn it into his path. Toma can bring it away now for the Maltese. Down towards Mbong, and Mbong opened up his body just to try and side foot it down towards Jody Jones, but Shaw was there first, and then Rice mops up, goes back to Maguire, and the possession for England is on the rise. Kane looking to mix it up with a long ball forward. It's the second time he's looked for Saka, and making that run in and trying to get him isolated against Zach Muscat, the centre half, but it didn't come off. And Steve Borge will be able to pick it up at the back, the Maltese captain, and try and play it out towards the Malta left-hand side. Elsewhere, Greece 1, Ireland 1. France still leading in Gibraltar, but only 1-0. Third-minute goal from Olivier Giroud. Another game in this group, North Macedonia 2 up now at home to Ukraine. Wales 1, Armenia 2, Turkey 2 up in Latvia. Kazakhstan leading in San Marino 1-0. Switzerland 2 up away to Andorra. Belarus 1, Israel 0. And the only goalless game apart from Denmark, Northern Ireland, is Kosovo against Romania. Earlier today, Finland won their match by 2-0, which is another one of the games in Northern Ireland's group. Shaw's got possession. You're with Talksport. Jim Pravnan, England legend Stuart Pearce, talking through the action from the Stadium Nacional into Harley. Trippier out towards Saka. Saka with a lovely turn. That suggests the ankle's absolutely fine. Alexander-Arnold just taking it with his right foot, skipping away from Thomas' challenge. Down towards Luke Shaw on the left-hand edge of the penalty area. Good run outside him from Henderson, but England passed up the opportunity to play it to him. Gurhey then forced to step up from the defensive line as Malta looked to get it away. It's chipped forward over the top towards Maddison, brought under control in the midfield by Saka. And Henderson will find Shaw, who just calms things down towards halfway, and then plays it back for Jordan Henderson again. 3-0 England.
Just going back to Gahey there, he's read the game really well, I think, today. He's used his body to stop runs of strikers, to let balls go through to the goalkeeper, and on that occasion, when it was needed, stepped in and dealt with any danger on the front foot.
Saka's on the left now, so a great little 1-2 between him and Maddison. It's clipped in by Saka, but towards the edge of the penalty area where he only found Galamier, he had time to chest it down, high up and under clearance from him, and the breeze caught that and took it back towards the penalty area. So it's done a complete about-face, the strong wind here. But the move breaks down for England. The free kick given away. Foul by Maddison on Bong, and he rubs his head by way of apology. There's a free kick that Malta will take just outside their penalty area. 90 seconds to go to half-time. Malta 0, England 3 on Talksport.
Yeah, I can't help thinking one or two of the passes on the pitch have been affected by the wind. You know, they're just over-hitting on occasion, and players of this quality normally don't get too much wrong.
England working forward again with a looping header, but that's caught the breeze and runs away from Kane. Ball back with Borge. Brings it outside the box and flicks it down towards Toma. Toma to Apap. Now towards Mbong. Alexander-Arnold coming back easily, covering in the midfield, and read the pass and wins it back. And now Rice will step away from one challenge and then a second, and then ends up being brought down by Christensen. And England have a free kick as we go into the last minute of the first half.
When you go around Europe, Jim, and you round up some of the results, you can't underestimate how well England have done in this game here. It could be a particularly tricky game. We talked about their results, only beaten 2-0 by the Italians, and they're 3-0 up, and no team in Europe are 3-0 up at the moment, you know, and you've got to admire England going about their business in the right manner.
They started their campaign, the Maltese, with a 2-1 away defeat to North Macedonia, a 2-0 down against Italy. But as we mentioned earlier, as we go into 1 minute of added time at the end of this first half, they really should have scored first that night, and there hasn't even been a glimmer of a chance for Malta this evening. Pickford has had nothing to do, not a shot on or off target from Malta. It has been an excellent performance. This is the type of fixture, remember, that England historically have struggled in with a small S in the past, sometimes to break down sides that defend deep with a press, but England could be 4 up by half-time. Shot comes in from Saka and it's beaten away. Comes back out for Shaw. Shaw's ball in is swept away and will go out of play for a throw. Think of the number of nights, Stuart, that we've sat through where it's been sometimes a torpid 2 or 3-0 after 90 minutes, and England have laboured and struggled to get going and have just given a little bit of heart to the opposition. That hasn't happened tonight.
They certainly hasn't. England have gone about their business really well. They've showed cutting edge when they needed to, and they've manipulated wide area instances and got turned and had cutting edge with their passing. A really pleasing first half.
And they lead at half-time by 3-0. They've been ahead since 8.5 minutes when a perceptive ball from Saka was turned into his own net by Apap. Saka had been found by Alexander-Arnold, who is one of the last England players to leave the field. He's only tiptoeing off, really. He has been excellent in this new modified midfield role on the right-hand side of the 3. He set up Saka to supply That first goal, he then scored the second with a rasping drive after an excellent move that he'd been a part of before, firing in from 25 yards. And then Kane won a penalty, which he then converted just past the half-hour mark. An excellent England performance. Malta 0, England 3 at the break.
And Borge just going over to Bukayo Saka at the end of that first half as they were trotting in to apologise for the challenge, see if he was okay. Looked a little bit tentative, Bukayo Saka, but I think he's going to be okay. Fight night on Talksport 2 right now from York Hall. Bethnal Green, Caroline Dubois going to be in the ring. Fraser Clark squaring up later as well. Download the Talksport app, swipe left to get Talksport 2 for the boxing. And we are going to bring you a review of a sensational first day in the first Ashes test as well during this half-time break. But Stuart Pearce, former England captain, I think a lot of people listening to this might be thinking, well, there's an element of lads, it's Malta about it, but they did start well. And if you remember 6 years ago, England came here and they were dreadful. 1-0 after 85 minutes, booed by the fans who left to go to the pubs, as Jim was saying in that first half commentary. This is proof that Gareth Southgate has done a lot of really good work with England.
They certainly have done. I think they've played at a really good tempo, Aid. I think they've moved the ball from side to side. The important thing is as well, get turned. When you've got opportunities to get turned, that's the game changer. They've done that, and they've shown a real clinical edge around the goal. Just looking at the attempts there, 7 attempts, 6 on target. Apart from the goals, the goalkeepers had to make probably three decent smart saves, you know, so I think you'll be really pleased with that. And as Jim mentioned in his commentary, the two boys that have got probably the most to prove within this lineup, Maddison and certainly Trent, have played extremely well.
Well, the goals, a Saka ball in for the own goal, Trent from 25 yards. Trent was involved before the third goal as well, which was a Kane penalty after he himself was fouled, Harry Kane. It's so satisfying, but the Trent finish I think was great, and you're right, he has been magnificent. Some of his turns, some of his touches, his range of passing, and all right, they don't always find the desired target, but he's trying some very difficult passes. Risky passes don't always come off, but we need those to be going forward and breaking lines.
See what it does, if you never try those type of passes, the defence are set. If you turn them round once or twice, you end up getting the space to feet on occasion, and I think they've got the balance just right, I really do.
Saka on the right has done really well as well. I'm just wondering about Declan Rice, because I've forgotten he was playing, and then I'm looking at him, got the old binoculars on Declan Rice, wondering what's going on there. It's him kind of making sure, behind everybody else, that Saka can go forward, that Trent can do his thing in midfield. It's a very disciplined role that Declan Rice is playing, but it's a role that it's the kind of game where he might at the end of the day get criticised for not doing too much, when actually he's been the insurance, if you like.
It is exactly that. I was just going to say those words. He's the insurance policy, eh? He makes sure that any counter-attacks get dealt with, and he's the conduit that gives the opportunity for the likes of Trent to get space, Henderson to get space, and the ball to be fed out into these wide areas.
Well, England are 3-0 up at half-time here in Malta. It's going so well so far. Not so well for the Welsh at home in Cardiff. Lawrence Mora.
Yeah, not well at all, Adrian. Wales 1, Armenia 2. 45 minutes that was not on the script this evening. All started brightly enough, though. Kiefer Moore causing havoc. 2 headers that went close. And then Brennan Johnson skipped down the right. And his inch-perfect ball to the back post was tucked in by Dan James as his 6th goal for the country. So far, so good then. Then Wales seemed to just step off the gas. The visitors grew in confidence. A superb volley by Armenia's star man, Lucas Zelarayan, who plays for the MLS for Columbus Crew. It was a really good side-foot volley. Wales players then seemed stunned. They allowed the visitors to cut through the defence, and the goal coming on 30 minutes as Grant Leon Ranos headed home at the back post. It's not as if the boys in red aren't creating chances. We've seen Brennan Johnson firing at the goalkeeper twice, Joe Rodon's header agonising, going close to the corner of the net. But with Turkey winning in Latvia, the pressure's really on to turn this game around. At the break, Wales 1, Armenia 2.
Better story for Northern Ireland in Group H. Graham Courtney.
Yeah, if it stays like this, they'll be well and truly chuffed. It's Denmark 0, Northern Ireland 0. It's been a bit of a tough watch, but never mind. Trey Hume for Sunderland, well, he was done by pace by Martin Braithwaite, the former Borough player, in the 5th minute. And, well, it was a decent cross in Spurs' Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. He's fired in a bicycle kick that has just flown wide. And then, roughly on the quarter-hour mark, Northern Ireland with their only chance, Shane Lavery, deflected shot, so Kasper Schmeichel at full stretch to collect it. But since then, well, not a single shot on target for either side. A lot of the Northern Ireland players, I've got to say, look absolutely shattered. The chase of the game, of course, wouldn't be surprised if Michael O'Neill makes some changes during the break. Half-time, though, in Copenhagen. It's going to plan. It's Denmark 0, Northern Ireland 0.
And England's footballers 3-0 up here in Malta, live on Talksport. What about England's cricketers? Let's bring in our cricket reporter, Sam Ellard. And Sam, I know you love your cricket, but have you ever seen anything like it? I mean, as a day's cricket goes in a test match, it was sensational. But this was the first day of the first Ashes test. I mean, how can you sum up what happened in Edgbaston today?
Carnage, Aid. It was an absolute pleasure and privilege to be there. I don't remember an Ashes series, any series, going into it with this much excitement, anticipation, and look, today delivered. It delivered drama, excitement, but that's just sort of become the norm now, really, under Ben Stokes and Brendan McCullum. You won't get a dull day of cricket. It's not the way England play. I think everybody turning up to the ground today, blue skies, really flat cricket. I think everyone wanted England to have a bat, and there was some nervy moments today. At one point, we lost 2 wickets for just 1 run. That left the score 176 for 5, and you're thinking the game is very much in the balance. But we then saw 2 really, really special innings. I mean, Joe Root once again delivering. I think we're running out of superlatives to describe Joe. It's his 30th Test match 100. He looked in incredible nick. We saw a reverse scoop. We saw him play all round the wicket. Ooze class once again. And really, John Bairstow, unfortunately, didn't get to 100. He made 78. But it's so good to see Johnny back playing cricket again. He was probably really the star of last summer, the first couple of months under Brendan McCullum. He then had that unfortunate, horrific leg break on the golf course, which took him out of the World Cup, Pakistan. But so good to see him fit, so good to see him smiling, enjoying his cricket, and he made a runnable 78. And then Aid, at 393 for 8, only Ben Stokes could declare. I mean, any other captain in any other era with a batsman set on 118 would just bat into day 2, try and get to 450, try and get to 500, but we know England aren't doing things by the norm. They want to be entertaining. They wanted to have a few overs at Australia, but it was about the drama, the excitement brought to Warner late in the day. Unfortunately, no wickets, but it was an unbelievable day of cricket, Aid.
It was sensational, truly sensational, but was it the right decision to declare?
I mean, on paper, no. It doesn't make any sense. It is a really, really flat wicket. You sort of turned up. You thought it's one of those days where you really, really want to win the toss. And really, both batting lineups, with the quality they've got in their team, they're probably thinking you want, 450, 500 minimum. So from an action, no. I think on paper, no, it wasn't the right decision. We haven't even got to 400 runs yet. But again, I've got to go back to the point that England aren't doing things by the norm. We've seen them do this before. They wanted to have a few overs at Australia. I spoke to Johnny Bairstow after the game, and he said that they saw it as a real opportunity. Late in the day, the crowd was loud. The crowd was up for it to try and get a breakthrough. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. But no, Aid, I say on paper, declaring 7 short of 400 with Joe Root still at the crease, it probably didn't make much sense.
Well, let's just hear from the man you mentioned there, Johnny Bairstow. A good innings, but didn't quite get to the ton that Joe Root did. This is what Johnny Bairstow had to say.
Yeah, I was delighted to be back. You guys have been well aware of how long I've been out for and the nature of the injury and everything that comes with that. It's never easy. And I think to be back out there on the big stage during the big dance is something that you want to be a part of. And it definitely didn't disappoint, shall we say. The crowd are absolutely amazing. As always, we know that the Hollies and the crowd at Edgbaston always get behind us as a group. We know that the group of players that we got are all really backing each other and believing in each other. And belief that we have, I think, is something that when you're going through the tricky times are things that you're able to call upon. So. With my stuff being out for a while, it was definitely something I was able to call upon, and then out in the middle today, took a little bit of time. There's a few nerves knocking about, like you can probably imagine. But when I found my flow and got into it and got into the battle, it was really enjoyable to be back out there.
Johnny Bairstow there after an extraordinary, surreal almost, first day of the first Ashes test. And we'll be back at Edgbaston for more tomorrow, and we'll keep you updated on Talksport. Let's take a quick look at the US Open Golf. Here's Sean O'Brien.
Yeah, it's as you were in Beverly Hills. 8 under's still the number. Overnight leaders Ricky Fowler and Xander Schauffele still at the top, and they don't tee off for another hour or so. They've been joined by Wyndham Clark, and a few players have closed the gap despite much tougher conditions today. Harris English and Sam Bennett have moved within 2 on 6 under. Dustin Johnson's recovered from a terrible start to stay within 3. He's 5 under, and so is Rory McIlroy. Topsy-turvy day, but he's very much stilling the mix. So's Tony Finau on 4 under. And watch out for Open champion Cam Smith on 3 under as well. But at the top, it's Clark, Fowler and Schauffele on 8 under par.
US Open update on Talksport with Arnold Clark. Click and collect your next car from a dealer you trust.
Well, it looked like it could be quite cagey and even maybe a bit tricky when the game got underway. But England have made it look easy by half-time. An own goal, Hurricane penalty, and in between a bit of brilliance from arguably the man of the match so far, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and England lead 3-0 here in Malta, live on Talksport.
Hear the biggest sports stories first and fast with the Back Page Review on Talksport with Tesco Mobile for Business. Listen to Talksport Breakfast every weekday morning from 6 for the latest breaking Back Page news, plus unbeatable reaction, opinion and comment. The Back Page Review on Talksport with Tesco Mobile for Business. Join Tesco Mobile and get business phone bills for up to 40% less than the big mobile networks. Tesco Mobile, every little helps. For applicable terms and verification, see tescomobile.com/business.
Growers Harvest Porridge Oats, price matched at only 84p for 1 kilogram at Tesco. Makes for some tasty overnight oats, which make themselves overnight. Fancy that. That's true value. Tesco. Every little helps. Serving suggestion. Price match 8th of 6th. Pro rata versus GBLD. Check twice weekly. Excludes promos. Selected stores. Excludes Express and Northern Ireland. Details tesco.com/LD price match.
She cuts in for the wing. Oh, that's superb. She's through and goal! Ha, 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 ha! Yes! She scored a world-class win.
Sarah?
Huh? Oh.
Cadbury Buttons or Dairy Milk?
Oh, gosh, sorry. Don't dream about a world-class win. Enter to win one. Meet a world-class footballer and win an epic holiday worth 8k. Only with Cadbury. T's and C's apply. Visit worldclass.cadburyfc.com.
Big day. We can make tomorrow go much smoother. We've got all the leading boiler brands all in one place. In fact, we've got our 2,000 best-selling products always in stock in every branch. Come in and see us. Bet we've got it. City Plumbing are the people you need to help get the job done right. From all the parts to expert advice. City Plumbing. Got it. On it.
Enjoy the full-on flavour of Pucker. Whenever, wherever and however you want. Front rooms, forests, beaches or bathtubs. It's fine with us, because Pucker is for the people. Enjoy our tasty range of chilled and frozen pies, pasties, slices and sausage rolls.
Well, players back out there on the pitch here in Malta. There will be changes. Jim Proudfoot will tell you about them in just a moment. Waiting for the officials, though, actually. And I can tell you that Alan Brazil and Ali McCoy is live from Royal Ascot for the breakfast show from Tuesday through till Friday next week on Talksport. That should be fun. Monday morning, England's Andros Townsend joins Laura Woods and former Wales striker Dean Saunders. I know Dean's watching Wales, who are losing to Armenia at the moment. Won't be happy with that. That's on the breakfast show Monday morning. You're with Talksport live in Malta on England duty in the European qualifiers, and it looks like England are going to be 9 points, 3 wins from 3 games at the top of the group, and 6 points ahead of Italy, who are not in qualifying action this weekend. As we get ready to get the second half underway, England 3-0 up, live on Talksport with former England captain Stuart Pearce, who's alongside Jim Proudfoot.
And both countries are making a change at half-time. Jankamp's coming on for Malta, but Phil Foden for Bukayo Saka is the England change. No surprise, as we alluded to at the end of the first half. There's no point in this scenario of taking any risk with Saka after the ankle injury he picked up. And as a consequence, Phil Foden is on to replace him.
Yeah, as I say, Saka looked in a lot of pain when he went down. Credit to him, he got up, played the last 6 minutes of the half. But in a game like this, if you want to have the opportunity for him to be up for selection on a Monday, you certainly wouldn't take any chances with him at all.
So we're back underway. England leading 3-0 at the start of the second half, in such a stark contrast to the last time they were here, where they laboured to a 1-0 advantage going into the final 5 minutes. Run through the two teams for you in a moment. Suffice to say that the Maltese change in midfield, Yankam has come on for Goulamie, who gave the penalty away, and that's a straight swap in that midfield three. England in possession. White shirts, dark blue shorts. They're kicking from left to right. They've actually lost the ball, and just be played for by Christensen. Toba tried to turn it into the path of Nwoko, who made a good run forward for him. The Maltese couldn't get it any further forward. England win it back and then lose it almost straight away. Malta will have it inside their own penalty area with Bonello, the goalkeeper, who fires it out towards the far side. Wind just picking up a little bit again. It's really neat control from Jody Jones in the midfield, and a great ball from him as well. That's a moment that he will be thrilled with. Good control, got away from Alexander-Arnold, and then an inch-perfect 40-yard crossfield ball down towards Kane Attar. Borge has it. Played for by Zach Muscat. Given away, though, in the midfield by Christensen. Clever ball with the outside of the right boot by Alexander-Arnold, but Maddison couldn't control it, and it goes out of play for a goal kick. So England lining up: Pickford in goal, Trippier, Gurhey, Maguire and Shaw, Alexander-Arnold, Rice and Henderson, Foden on for Saka, Kane and Maddison. We're lining up with Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, Foden just come on the pitch as well. He might be another one that falls into that category of with Maddison, with Trent Alexander, a little bit to prove tonight, and Foden not a natural first choice starter for certainly his club or his country at this moment in time, but some talent.
Maddison's just worked a ball through that goes out of play for a goal kick. Phil Foden taken off 12 minutes after coming on in Italy in his last appearance for England, and that was because of the red card for Luke Shaw, that they had to shuffle things around. And even though he was the most recently arrived of England's players, he was the first to come off. Question of first in, last out, or last in, first out, should I say, out in Naples. And he will feel as though he's got a bit to prove. It's his 24th cap tonight, but still by no means a regular, and has lost that starting place. It was guaranteed for Manchester City's big games last season and the season before, but you can guarantee pretty much that he's not going to be in the starting lineup for the biggest games now under Pep.
No, that is the case, and as I say, sometimes that happens. You work in cycles a little bit, and that's the challenge you have as a young player. I've got a question for you when things settle down in a minute.
I'll brace myself. Here's Jones. It's knocked away by Gurhey. And it'll be brought down inside the centre circle again by Apap. Out towards Mbong. Bong bringing it forward down the right-hand side. Bleached blonde hair. He's just lost possession. An opportunity for England to win it back. And it's a good ball played down the inside left channel. And Kane will chase after it. Borge, though, is back there. And it's been able to sweep it away. Will be a throw to England. But another injury problem. Henderson just caught late. Once he played a pass, Christensen was in late and caught him on the right leg, but Henderson's okay. He's back on his feet without the need for treatment.
Yeah, just flexed his knee there on that late challenge. But he's up, he's moving around, which is good news.
Throw which will be taken by England. Level the edge of the Maltese penalty area.
One question for you. We talked about maybe utilising John Stones as that midfield player. Now, if he stepped in there and you had a look at John Stones, that would rule Trent out from playing that position, because they both play in that inner area, don't they?
I'll come back to that in a moment. Foden laying it out towards Maguire, and England with Luke Shaw will find Declan Rice, who can just inject a little bit of tempo in the midfield. Another good turn from Alexander-Arnold, who's just able to take the ball with him. He couldn't quite to start with, but he retained possession well. And it'll be played back towards Kane. I mean, my reservation, and I'm a fully paid up member of the John Stones fan club, as you know. My reservation would be that in a midfield 3, the way that England play, it wouldn't work. He would have to do it in a 2. He could play alongside Rice in there if England were going to play 4-2-3-1, but I don't think that it would work in the 4-3-3. I think Alexander-Arnold, Rice and Bellingham is an immense 3-ball. I mean, on the strength of 45 minutes we've seen from Trent playing against Malta, of course, but you're drawing a conclusion. If you extrapolate out this performance we've seen from him tonight, you can make a case for that being the midfield 3, and Stones just playing as a more orthodox centre-half, perhaps. Foden trying to bring it forward in the midfield, loses out, and Malta will play it forward towards Jones. Couldn't get past Trippier. Marcolini, the Maltese coach, is claiming that there was a foul on his man, but play's allowed to continue, and England will bring it forward with Shaw. Through the midfield towards Henderson. Henderson down towards Rice and back for Henderson again, and England just slowing things down for a moment. We'll get very quick news of a goal in Denmark. Graham Courtney.
It is Denmark 1, Northern Ireland 0. Poor defending, and the ball just has kindly dropped to Jonas Vind, and he's knocked it in from close range. That's tough on Ireland. It's Denmark 1, Northern Ireland 0.
So Northern Ireland losing, Wales behind as well. England 3 goals to the good here as the wind picks up even more at Tahali, and Henderson works it back to Gurhey. So what are your thoughts on it with John Stones then?
Well, John potentially might play as that one of those central players potentially, or right back as he has done for Manchester City, and gone and supplemented the midfield. But I don't think you can play sort of John and ask him to go into the midfield area if you've already got Trent in that area of the pitch as well. So I think it's one or the other at the moment, but that might just develop as time goes by. The one thing is, the clubs have developed it, and the international manager has probably got the benefit of it.
Well, it's a nice position to be in, because if you think back to several previous England teams where you've wondered, been round pegs in square holes, and just exactly how they're going to be able to shuffle things around in the squad. As Rice finds Kane here and tried to play it in, Maddison saw the ball run from underneath his feet, and as he had to stretch to try and work it in, he's overstretched and caught one of his opponents, and it's a free kick to Malta inside their penalty area. England still leading by 3 goals to 0 with 7 minutes into the second half, and Borge might need some treatment on the back of that.
Yeah, he just got caught on the follow-through from Maddison. A bit tough on him to give a free kick against him, if I'm being honest, but if England are to see this game out and manage to add to this goal tally and keep a clean sheet, they'll be more than delighted with this result, and certainly the 3 points.
Free kick to be taken by Bonello. And it's worked forward, right-footed over halfway. Maguire coming to meet it, has headed it down. Christensen, the one player booked so far for that challenge on Jordan Henderson 4 or 5 minutes ago. Just turns it neatly through the midfield. Toma had continued his run, but Woko couldn't find him. And he goes through for Jordan Pickford again.
England just cashing in their insurance policy again with Declan Rice for the second time this half. Just stopping an attack from Malta.
Mark Gurhey down for Kieran Trippier. Trippier bringing it forward over halfway. Phil Foden takes a touch, playing very wide on the England right. Back he goes for Pickford. And Pickford just able to side foot the ball through the midfield. Declan Rice has got it now, level with the edge of the centre circle. Movement ahead of him comes from Kane and from Foden, who's come into a more central position now. Wanted the ball to feet on the edge of the centre circle. Alexander-Arnold tries a long-ranging pass from some 50 yards away, just trying to ping it with pace between the 2 Maltese centre-halves. Couldn't quite squeeze it through. He's got it again now, Trent, with the ball at his feet. Pokes it for Foden. Is that a little bit too heavy? It is. Rolls away from Maddison and goes out of play for a goal kick that'll be taken by Bonello for Malta. 9 gone second half. Malta 0. England 3. 65-35. The possession in England's favour. 7 shots in 54 minutes for England with 65% of the possession. That might be, if you if you're a detractor of England and are looking for some ammunition, you might say that they haven't created quite enough opportunities. But that really would be, I think, looking for criticism. They've got it again now. And he's worked back towards Shaw. Fair to say this June is going better for them than last. Kane waiting for a ball to be played in his direction. Henderson just neglected to play that pass. It's been worked back into England territory a little bit more conservatively instead. Trippier on halfway, chipping it towards Maguire. Maltese fans have long since grown tired of booing Maguire every time he touched the ball. Now it comes down towards Trippier again. Trippier for Foden. And Trippier playing it back to Gurhey. Now this is easy England possession, not necessarily going anywhere with it, just working it sideways, backwards when necessary, just trying to draw the Maltese onto them. Foden playing the way that he's facing, goes back to Trippier behind him. Now Gurhey. Maguire will be able to bring it forward, and he can work it between the lines. Maddison sweeping it out to the right for Foden. It'll be half cleared, only as far as Harry Kane. Kane near the edge of the penalty area, chipping it in, and Bond can head that one away. Then guarded by Declan Rice with his head down towards the England left. Ball comes in from Maddison. Kane's there to attack it. Didn't really get clean contact on it, and it rolls over the line down by the corner quadrant and out of play for a goal kick.
Yeah, sometimes you've got to move the ball from side to side efficiently, and it looks as though you're half going nowhere, but you're doing it for a reason. You're doing it to actually free up space on the opposite side to where the ball is.
Borg down towards Attar. And then Trippier winning it back. Alexander-Arnold on the stretch. Back for Maddison. Maddison to Luke Shaw on the England left. Shaw playing it forward and then getting an immediate return ball that just forced him to retrace his steps over on the left. Back he goes again for Maguire. Maguire worked forward towards halfway. All thoughts of substitutions will have been made in planning meetings long since, Stuart, and they want to get some minutes out of Eberic Eze without a shadow of a doubt tonight. Just at some stage it was given away by Maguire, and Woko winning it back, and then Maguire just did well, stopped him getting too far, stretched out, got his right foot to it, and then England worked it over the top, and it almost came through for Foden, but Zach Muscat got his head to it, and he will be able to guide it back to his goalkeeper. We're going to see a triple change, and it's going to be Wilson, Mings and Rashford who will be coming on.
Yeah, it is. No sign of Eze as yet, but certainly Gareth would have had it in his mind pre-game, I'm sure. And certainly the way things have panned out, you'd almost, with a block of games like these two that we've got, you would almost have it in your mind, both teams, give or take the odd injury.
Yeah, Malta in action away to Ukraine, or in a match against Ukraine that is officially an away fixture. You understand what I'm saying? Borg will bring it outside his own penalty area. Let's try and ride a few challenges over on the far touch line. The veteran at centre-half almost giving it away. It has broken Foden's way on the edge of the area. Slipped through for Kane towards goal, and bobbles just wide. Well, he wanted to take it early with the goalkeeper out of position and retreating defenders, and he didn't get hold of it, and he scuffed it wide of the near post.
Yeah, loose play by Malta on the edge of their box, and when it fell to Foden, unselfishly laid a brilliant ball for a diagonal run for Kane, but he's dinked it over the goalkeeper, but he's just not got enough on it. Not enough pace to beat the defender on the line, or alternatively enough accuracy to see it on target.
So the changes are being made now, 3 for England and 2 for Malta, and the England players coming off are Kane, Henderson and Shaw, and they're being replaced by Wilson, Rashford and Mings.
Yeah, as you say, see the sensibility in that. Just having a look, it looks as though Gahey, would he go and slide and play left back, do you think, or is Mings going over to that area of the pitch?
Well, it'll be interesting to see how they shuffle things around. Mings at the moment takes the station in the middle. I wonder if England potentially are going to switch to a 3. Wouldn't have thought so. Whether Gurhey will move out to left back. Mings has had a word with Pickford. Now he has a word with Gurhey. Gurhey has moved forward, and he's going to be playing, I think, as a conventional left back. So keeping the shape the same. Rice just in front of the back 4, which is now Trippier, Maguire on the right of the 2 centre-halves, Mings on the left, and Gurhey at left back. And then it's Alexander-Arnold in midfield. They've dropped Maddison in on the left-hand side of the midfield 3 now with Declan Rice. Rashford's gone out to the left, Wilson through the middle, and Foden stays on the right.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much football Gahey's played at left back, but certainly Mings had. So it wouldn't have been a surprise if Mings went and played left back.
Well, he's got it now, Tyrone Mings, who is on an international hat-trick. He's scored in each of his last 2 internationals. But his last cap came against Ivory Coast 15 months ago. Back on now for his 18th appearance for his country. Another player who has progressed at an international stage via non-league football. He had a spell at Cape Town one stage in his career. Malta made a double change, incidentally. Nicky Muscat came on for Christensen, who struggled a little bit tonight in midfield. And a straight swap up front. Satiriano, who missed that good chance early on against Italy back in March, has replaced Nwoko. His partner Jody Jones. So double change for Malta. England have made 4 of their 5 changes. But they've still got 1 junction left in the game at which they can make a change. So we might yet see a debut for Berichi Eze tonight. England have given a free kick away. Maddison just a little bit too strong in his challenge, and the free kick has been won by Malta's Muscat in the midfield. One of 2 Muscats on there. Zach Muscat playing centre-half, Nicky Muscat in midfield. A free kick that Malta will take about 15 yards inside their own half. England leading by 3-0, as has been the case now for the last half hour. Malta 0, England 3 here on Talksport with Jim Proudfoot and Stuart Pearce talking through the action from Tahali, and all the reaction from England's headline makers and Gareth Southgate coming your way with our England correspondent Faye Carruthers at the conclusion of this game. Ball is worked out towards Mbong on the Maltese right. Satiriano trying to spin away from Mings, who puts it out of play for a throw.
Yeah, game's just gone a little bit flat at the moment. I'm sure from Gareth's point of view, we want to keep pressing England's ascendancy and maybe extending the scoreline if humanly possible, but certainly just gone a little bit flat. Maybe the changes have played a part in that.
Well, the end of a long hard season, etc, etc. The longest season, big game to come on Monday as well. 3-0 up. Goal difference isn't going to make a difference at the end of this campaign, I think it's fair to say. So it's just managing workload as much as anything else, I guess. Not that you don't want more. Here's Jones making it down to the left-hand side to feed Attard. And then back from Jones again to Toma. Ball will roll behind Toma to Zach Muscat. And now down towards Toma again on the left-hand side of the midfield. Remember, England taking on North Macedonia on Monday, and that one is live on Talksport. North Macedonia leading Ukraine 2-1 at the moment in their game tonight, and I'll tell you how that makes this group look very shortly. England bring the ball forward on the far touchline and win a throw on their left. So as things stand right now, England play 3, 9 points. North Macedonia played 2, 6 points. Italy played 2, 3 points. Ukraine played 2, yet to get off the mark. And Malta at the moment staring down the barrel of the 3rd successive defeat. So it's England and then either North Macedonia or Italy, you would imagine, to qualify. 15 points in a 5-team group is nearly always enough to get you out. Mathematically it might not be, but invariably 15 points to get you out of the group, and England will be on 9 with 5 games left if it stays this way. They've got the ball at the back with Mings. He finds Maguire, and we're 19 minutes into the second half on Talksport. 3-0.
Yeah, as I say, at the moment, Gareth will be absolutely delighted with the way things are going, but he'll want to finish on a high. He'll want his team to keep the tempo that they've set within the game and keep peppering the Maltese goal if humanly possible.
What won't he have seen tonight that he wants to?
Very little, I don't think. I think what I would say, I don't think either fullback have really got forward and troubled the wide areas, I would say. I don't think Trips has, and I don't think Luke Shaw have. I think they've just fielded it and been part of the team. They've not seen that. The Trent Alexander-Arnold experiment certainly has worked brilliantly in the first half, and he's played a big part in this scoreline.
Ball's laid back for Bonello, the Maltese goalkeeper. On the press is telling Borge did well to turn into and then very quickly out of trouble to play round the press from Callum Wilson. Alan Bong will work it forward through the midfield. He certainly has looked, having watched a few of Malta's previous games, like their star performer. He's done well. One of the players that plays for the Maltese champions, Hammer and Spartans, and there are a fair few of those in the side tonight. 4 in the starting lineup. Ball is out. Spending a lot of time out in this second half. It's out for a throw that will be taken on the England right by Kieran Trippier. It's Malta 0, England 3. Now, don't forget, tomorrow morning, Mark Pugac in with Tony Cascarino on the Weekend Sports Breakfast on Talksport, and so much reaction coming your way to all the international games that have taken place tonight. Also to the fact that Arsenal's opening bid for Kai Havertz has been rejected. That will be spoken about by the boys, I'm sure, as well. And then on Monday morning, Talksport Breakfast will see Andros Townsend, who's just a couple of seats to my right as we speak. He'll be in the studio 8 till 10 on Monday morning alongside Laura Woods and Dean Saunders. And then Alan Brazil and Ali McCoy's live from Royal Ascot Tuesday through Friday next week. Ball to the edge of the penalty area, but England can knock it away. A rare Maltese attack comes to nothing, and England will be able to saunter forward with Rashford. And it's a great ball. England 3 against 2 here. Phil Foden, Alexander-Arnold made a run across him. He actually did him no favours there. Just the space that Foden wanted to attack, and Trent ran into it for him. Now Alexander-Arnold with a little backheel flick. Thomas going to be able to knock it away, and England didn't come close to making the best of an opportunity there. It's 3 against 2. Borge caught possession on the edge of his own area. Wilson's got it, tries to get to the byline, plays it across the edge of the 6-yard box, but can't find Rashford. It's cleared out past Rice. Alexander-Arnold winning it back, scooping in brilliantly with the outside of the right boot. Wilson tried to turn, ran into traffic, and the ball will be knocked away by Attar. It's been another goal in Cardiff. Lawrence Mora.
Wales 1, Armenia 3, 66 on the clock, and it is a Grant Leon Ranos who's got the third for Armenia. A volley from the edge of the area, just set up beautifully for him. He ran onto it and fired it low past Danny Wood. Absolute silence, as you can hear, at the Cardiff City Stadium. 66 on the clock. Wales 1, Armenia 3.
And you're not missing anything here at Tahali, because Steve Borge, the Maltese captain's gone down hurt inside his own penalty area and needs some treatment. We're midway through the second half, Stuart Pearce. Malta 0, England 3. And as Borge receives his treatment, 20 minutes or so for Gareth Southgate to have a look at Eze if he wants. You would imagine that he would come on potentially to replace Alexander-Arnold in there.
Yeah, there is that opportunity. It looks as though that will be the naturalised position that he'd prefer to come on at. Whether that's the opportunity that we'll get today, maybe Monday, who knows. As we stand at the moment, Malta look as though they're taking the odd risk on the edge of the box, playing out. They just look a little bit fatigued, and that might give us the opportunity to have a few more opportunities. And just as you mentioned, that gentleman, out comes Eze.
Right on cue. Berichi Eze, a very popular young man in the Crystal Palace dressing room. He will be the 90th different player used by Gareth Southgate. That would give you something to do on the flight home, Stuart. Work out the other 89.
Oh, we're squeezing, are we?
Yeah, anything less than 85 and you disappoint me. He's going to be coming on. Scored 10 goals this season, including 6 in his last 9 games. He's won 8 caps for the under-21s. A devout Christian, he stands and looks to the heavens as he raises his hands before coming on here for his international debut to replace James Maddison.
Yeah, massive honour for any player to come on, represent their country, and well done to him for having that opportunity. His form at the end of the season's been nothing but outstanding, certainly for Palace. He's played a massive part in guiding them to a good league position this year.
Yeah, an outstanding young man. And Berichi Eze, former Wycombe loanee, former Queen's Park Rangers man, now at Palace. And he comes on. Two Palace players on the field now with Mark Gurhey the other. England leading by 3-0. So Gareth Southgate's played his hand with 20 minutes to go. He's made all 5 changes.
I just wonder, looking at Eze's position, whether he'll just drop Trent alongside Declan at the moment, with Eze playing as a more advanced number 10, Jim, and just tinkle with that sort of midfield 3.
Yeah, Eze, even in Roy Hodgson's brief second spell in charge of Palace, has played pretty much everywhere in the midfield. He's played as a holder in a 4-2-3-1. He's played as a 10. He's also played as an 8. So he's another that offers that versatility. Nearly everybody in this England squad does, to a greater or lesser extent. Has it again now. Just has this manner about him as he strolls towards the ball when he's out of possession, but he covers the ground deceptively quickly, brings it underneath control, lays it back. Good first contribution from him. Maguire will play it forward. Now Foden with a miss kick, spun it back in the air inside his own half. Eze tried to win it and then dangles out a right foot to knock it away, but couldn't get it away from Satriano. And the Maltese striker has come back. He's lost possession inside his own half, but the referee says that's because he was fouled. Malta 0, England 3. We've heard that Wales are 3-1 down at home to Armenia. How Northern Ireland getting on in Copenhagen? Here's Graham Courtney.
Well, they're not chucking the towel in. Denmark 1, Northern Ireland 0. Just seen a really good run from Everton's Isaac Price, who's making his international debut this evening. And he's got no support, and he's put in a really good shot. Terrific save by Kasper Schmeichel. But the good work of the opening 45, it's been undone. It's Denmark 1, Northern Ireland 0.
The Republic of Ireland are 2-1 down in their game in Greece. The other game in this group tonight, now dead level. North Macedonia 2, Ukraine 2. And North Macedonia, England's next opponents, live from Old Trafford Monday night on Talksport with a 7 p.m. start. Satriano trying to take it on inside the penalty area. England defending mob-handedly and backpedaling quickly, but Rice was there to poke it away, and still Jordan Pickford hasn't had a single shot to worry about, either on or off target tonight. 72 minutes in. Malta 0, England 3. And it's been that way since the 31st minute. If you're just joining us, Arpat putting through his own net on 9. Alexander-Arnold on 28, came from the penalty spot on 31 after he was fouled by Goulamier. England bring it forward with Rashford, left-hand side of the area. He's got a trick, he's got the burst of pace, and he's got a corner. Wanted more, but it will be England's first corner of the second half.
Yeah, England played out really well there from the back. The ball arrived at Maguire's feet, not far outside his own penalty box. And what I liked about that, he drove. There was space in front of him. He drove with the ball, and out the corner of his eye, he's seen Rashford on the left wing and delivered a fantastic ball to him to set up the attack.
So a corner that will be taken on the England left-hand side. And the referee just wants a word with those doing the pushing and shoving around the penalty spot. He's happy that it's all in order. 6 players break away from that area. It's swung it towards Maguire. It's off the top of his head rather than the meat of his forehead. Half cleared, brought down then by Wilson on the right-hand side of the box, and he's given a free kick away. He looked as though he was given a shove there by Nicky Muscat, and he went down with his hands on the ball, try and force the referee's decision. And the referee has given a free kick against Wilson for a handball.
Yeah, I'd say good decision by the referee. I think he was looking for the challenge and the contact, and it was there, but not much of it. And as he sort of semi-gone down, he's got a touch up with his hand.
There's been another goal in Cardiff for Talksport's Lawrence Moore.
Oh my word, it's Wales 2, Armenia 3, and Harry Wilson has fired him from close range. But as you join me, Armenia have just struck against the bar. This game is absolutely bonkers this evening. 73 on the clock, Wales fighting for their lives. Wales 2, Armenia 3.
So Armenia leading that one by the odd goal in 5. On a night that the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland are both 1 down in their respective fixtures away from home. And England lead this one by 3-0. Malta have only ever won 4 European Championship qualifiers, all of them here. The first against Greece back in the mid-70s. They beat Iceland in the 80s, Hungary in the noughties, the Faroes in 2019. No sign of another notable scalp tonight. They do want to get a goalless draw here against West Germany back in 1979, which is probably just about the best result that they've ever had. A narrow 3-2 defeat by the same opposition 5 years later. Nearly snatched a draw against England in 2000, but for a late Richard Wright penalty save. England were lousy that day, but they've been excellent tonight. Got the job done inside the opening half hour and have just been able to manage things very competently since then. Now the Maltese are going to make another change, and they're going to bring Di Gabriele on very shortly. That's going to be change number 4 for them. There's been another goal in Cardiff, Lawrence.
Wales 2, Armenia 4. Lucas Salarayan has got his second of the evening. It's a right foot into the top corner. Wales fans with their hands in their heads. They just got back into it, and now the 2-goal gap is back. Wales 2, Armenia 4.
I'll tell you what that means for the table in a moment. Kieran Trippier in possession here for England. Chipping it back through the centre circle. It's brought down by Tyrone Mings. Still, Di Gabriele waits. Just going through some stretches, jogging up and down on the spot before he's going to be allowed to come on in a moment. Toma trying to win the ball back in the midfield. Trippier playing it and thought that he'd won a throw, but it has been given the other way. So they'll bring Di Gabriele on, and he will replace Jody Jones. And the Londoner comes off. Had some nice moments, but like any forward, so reliant on service, and he had absolutely none of that tonight.
No, I thought he was quite lively early on, facilitating the counter-attack, decent movement, nice and sharp, but the longer the game's gone on, the less of a threat Malta have been, to be quite honest with you. Even though England have not sort of extended the scoreline, they've been more than comfortable in dealing with any potential counter-attack.
So the change is made, and Di Gabriele comes on for Jody Jones. Di Gabriele scored against Greece on his last appearance. He is the leading Maltese scorer in the top division over here. He recently scored his 100th goal for his club, Hibernians. He's reminiscent a little bit of Michael Mifsud, their leading international goal scorer, quite slight in stature. And he'll play just off Satriano for the final 15 minutes of this game, which England lead by 3-0. Eze, England's debutant tonight, in possession. He's laid it back towards Gurhi. Gurhi playing at left back since things got shuffled round. And now Mings will bring it to the edge of his own penalty area and play it back for his goalkeeper. Pickford taking a touch down by the foot of his right-hand post and pinging an excellent ball forward. Eze can control that on his chest and then flicks it down with his foot towards Gurhi. Gurhi to Rashford and back again. Back towards Mings on the edge of the penalty area and forward towards Maguire. Just going back to that Wales scoreline, incidentally, as they trail by 4-2 against Armenia. If it stays that way, the group will be Turkey 6, Croatia 4, Wales 4. As a shot comes in on the edge of the area from Rashford, and a break down the left-hand side of the area for Wilson. Wilson will take it out towards the touchline. Borges followed him every step of the way, and is he giving him a shove? No, Wilson back on his feet. I think Wilson trying to persuade the referee that he was caught there. Could say that was a Maltese foul con.
Oh, it took 77 minutes for that one to drop out, but it's been coming. It's fair to say.
I thought you were going to say it's been worth it, and it really wasn't. A red card now in Cardiff to go with the 6 goals. Lawrence?
Yeah, Wales 2, Armenia 4. Kiefer Moore scratching his head and walking towards the touchline because he's been red carded for an altercation with the goalkeeper. It was all off the ball. It looked like they were coming together. The goalkeeper was writhing around on the floor. They got up. It was a bit of a melee. Oh, that is very, very poor. The goalkeeper's rolling around as if he's been shot, and the Kiefer Moore's been sent off. The referee is waiting for a VAR, but at the moment Wales are down to 10, 78 on the clock. Wales 2, Armenia 4.
You take the boy out of Torquay. The ball comes down to the left-hand side, and Attal will be able to bring it forward once more. Kiefer Moore, as things stand, sent off, but by the sound of Lawrence's description there, maybe the VAR will overturn it. The ball is out with Mbong on the right-hand side. Now right-footed ball hooked inside the England penalty area, but Trippier waited for it to come his way, and he chested it down and knocked it away. Alexander-Arnold driving it forward. Wilson will chase. Borge there to mop up. And it remains 3-0 to England.
Trent Alexander once again delivering a forward ball, an early ball. Callum Wilson on his bike into the channel, just got red and just too short, got cut out. But I, as a manager, certainly wouldn't be against players attempting passes like that. Sometimes I get frustrated. Players are too cautious, to be fair. Trent certainly hasn't been that tonight.
The standout performer?
Without a doubt. I mean, his first half performances, 32 minutes were sensational. He was the one creating things. He's scored a goal, and he's had the vision to play forward.
And he's played another great ball in there, right on cue towards the edge of the penalty area. Wilson has taken it and tries to drive it in. Took a deflection off Borge and spins towards the goal, where the goalkeeper can take a step across to his left-hand side, and his handling is good.
Yeah, as I say, I think Trent's been by far the standout player in this performance, and he's done everything I would think that Gareth's asked of him. He's understood the position, he's got on the ball, he's got turned, and he's played forward passes.
Into the final 10 minutes. Bonello controlling it inside his own penalty area, playing it forward, and the referee has stopped play. There's a potential penalty check. Handball incident. It's not clear who or how. The players from both sides are going up and speaking to the referee, and he's going to come over and have a look at the monitor.
It was that attempted cross from Callum Wilson. Wilson was certainly vocal in asking the referee for handball, and obviously I didn't know it was inside the box. Obviously they've decided it is. I think that's tight. That's too close to his body.
Well, the VAR is the Croatian official Duja Strukan. The defender involved is Steve Borge, and his left arm is down in front of his body, but there is a slight movement of the lower arm towards the ball. I mean, it is very close. I mean, Wilson's hit it at him, and he's, I don't know, a yard and a half, that's 6 feet away, but it is going to be given as a penalty.
This day and age.
With the modern interpretation of the laws, there is only going to be one result here, I think. Yeah, penalty.
As I say, a tough one really. I thought it was the right hand that was adjudged to have made the contact. That was close to his body. It wasn't that. On the replay, it was the left hand that was slightly out from the body. This day and age, as you rightly say, Jim, they're going to give a penalty.
That is one of those incidents that you think, when they were drawing up the laws in the first place, they didn't mean that to be given as a penalty. But with the current interpretation, as you say, it is always going to be given. Now, Harry Kane's put one penalty away. He's now off the field. So it's an opportunity for Callum Wilson to score England's fourth. He's only scored one goal for his country so far. That was on his debut against the USA nearly 5 years ago. Long wait for him to get his name on the score sheet for the Three Lions since then. He's done it on countless occasions for Newcastle over the course of this season. Can he score a penalty for England here? Bonello, stationary on his line, absolutely motionless. Wilson runs up, sends him the wrong way. Blasts it into the bottom right-hand corner, and it's Malta 0, England 4.
Yeah, another goal, the extension of the scoreline will be very pleasing, I'm sure. I think it was a little tough on Malta, that handball, but certainly laws of the game. There was no way he was going to overturn it once he'd come to the touchline to have a look.
So Callum Wilson with his second goal for his country in his 7th appearance. Malta 0, England 4. That's a night that England have scored with an own goal and 2 penalties. But nevertheless, I think probably 4-0 is a fair reflection of their supremacy.
I think as well, Jim, I was looking at the appearances and the goals in the squad, and I think there's only 2 players that have got double figures in goals, you know, and that's Rashford and Kane. And it surprised me a little bit. I would have thought there'd be more players, certainly in the squad, that have achieved more than that goals-wise.
Yeah, those 2 have got 71 between them, but it's just a few isolated goals elsewhere. Might get an opportunity here for a 5th England as they work it in, with Eza trying his luck, and Malta had enough bodies back to be able to clear, and it goes out of play for a throw. The last time England were here, they scored 3 in the last 5 minutes. as the Maltese tired, and they're trying to get their foot on the throat here again. Alexander-Arnold back inside his own half of the centre circle for Tyrone Mings. Malta in England 4. Chance to bring it forward for Rice.
Yeah, unfortunate there from Rashford. Goalkeeper's made 1 or 2 smart saves down low, hasn't he, in the game, I think?
Yes, handling's let him down on a couple of occasions, but other stuff he's done has been very creditable. Henry Bonello has been first choice for his country for nearly 5 years now. Mings trying to work it forward right down the left-hand touchline, but Toma has won it back. Gurhey then slides it forward. England getting it into the feet of Foden. Borge is there to clear. A player who gave the second of the 2 penalties away. And it goes out of play for a throw that will be taken on the England right. Malta are going to make their final change in a moment, not just yet, as Trippier restarts play quickly with the throw that finds Maguire. Remember, we'll hear from the headline makers with our England correspondent Faye Carruthers, who's speaking to Gareth Southgate. I'm sure that she'll grab a word with Trent Alexander-Arnold as well after his standout performance tonight, and you can hear those interviews here on Talksport from the conclusion of this game. England able to bring the ball forward with latest debutant Eza, led with the edge of the penalty area. Take it down towards the dead ball line, and is he fouled? The ball's gone out of play, and the referee said you can have a corner rather than a free kick.
Yeah, good to see him getting turned there. Good interchange on the far side, and he's got the presence of mind to go and take players on. That's what you've got to do. You can't be within yourself when you step on the field, albeit for your first game for your country. You've got to show the manager this is the company you want to be part of.
And so a final change from Malta, and it's a straight swap at left back where Juan Carlos Corbelan, a player from the champion Tamron Spartans, will come on to replace Kane Attard. So Corbelan comes on for his 22nd appearance for his country. Incidentally, that Kiefer Moore red card in the Wales game did stand Wales down to 10 and 4-2 down at home to Armenia. Ukraine now 3-2 up away to North Macedonia. That's the other game in this group. North Macedonia 2, Ukraine 3. Should take Ukraine up to 3 points from 2 games. North Macedonia will be on the same mark. Italy on the same mark as well. England will be 6 points clear at the top of the group at the end of tonight if it stays that way. In comes England's corner. Maguire is there to attack it. Didn't get as far as him. It was headed wide, I think, by the climbing Rashford. Or Wilson, perhaps it was that got there. He was the man that just got in between his 2 England teammates, headed it towards goal, but not quite close enough to goal. And out of play for a goal kick that will be taken by Bonello. Malta 0, England 4.
Yeah, I think he'll be disappointed with that, Wilson. He climbed really well, got a bit of space just outside the 6-yard box, and instead of getting a solid contact on it and probably heading it back where it come from, sort of glanced it wide. You know, when you look at the goal-scoring figures of the England team, Jim, and then you throw in stats like Wilson, that's his first goal for 5 years. It's quite incredible, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he's hardly had an opportunity, really. The injuries played a major part in that, of course. This is his 6th substitute appearance since he made his full debut. Here's Phil Foden on the edge of the penalty area for England. Eza letting the ball run across his body. And then playing it down to the left-hand side for Marcus Rashford. Oh, Rashford just invited Mbong into the challenge. He was able to get it in, but it flicked up off Mbong legitimately and into the hands of goalkeeper Bonello. 90 seconds to go. Malta 0, England 4 on Talksport.
Yeah, Wilson working well on just inside the box there on the far side, and he skipped past the defender, and I think there was a slight nick on his ankle. He thought about going down, but credit to him, stayed on his feet.
Malta will bring the ball forward over the halfway line into England territory. Kind of been too many times in the recent past where England have played a game where the opposition haven't had a single shot. But we're in the 90th minute, and that remains the case. They wanted to play the ball forward past the high England back line there, the Maltese midfield, but they had 2 in offside positions. Both of the strikers, Di Gabriele and Saturiano, were too far forward.
I think it's important as well, Jim, not to lose track. That is a fantastic stat to have in any match, you know. The opposition never not to have a shot at your goal or anything meaningful at least, you know. So, you know, that's commendable, I think.
Maguire controlling it, bringing it outside the penalty area, back for Pickford. Pickford under a little bit of pressure. Santillano sensed that and lunged to try and cut out the ball that was going to be played down the left-hand side. England have been able to play it away. Eze has it in the midfield. Pericci Eze down towards Rashford. Rashford turning and flicking a ball round the corner to his left-hand side for Guehi. Guehi goes back for Mings. Mings ball towards Alexander-Arnold. And we're into 3 minutes of added time at the end of this game. Rice. Back for Alexander-Arnold again. Rice down towards Kieran Trippier. Trippier controlling it, playing it back towards Maguire. Maguire taking a touch and then sending one that bounces once inside the centre circle through towards Mings. England cycling it out to the left-hand side now, where Guehi, who was, albeit against limited opposition, looked very comfortable in that left-back role. Just plays it back to Mings. Mings forward towards Rashford. England seeing if they can maintain possession from here until the full-time whistle. 2.5 minutes to go. Rice to Trippier. Trippier had two options. Went for Maguire rather than Foden. Alexander-Arnold almost lost possession. And he did for a moment, but it was a toe poke through the midfield, and Maguire was able to easily win it back. Foden to Rice. Trippier to Maguire. And then Maguire arcs one with the instep of his right foot out of the left for Guehi. Guehi to Rashford. Out in space on the England left-hand side. Eze had made a strong run. It's played into a more central area instead for Wilson, but had two defenders around him, and Thomas able to knock it away. And Muscat will play down towards Corbelan. Back from him to Zach Muscat again. He'll find his goalkeeper, and Bonello will clear out to the far touchline, the right, but it was just a fight ball from Mbong, and England have very quickly won it back. A few yelps of pain over on the far touchline from Santillano. No decision going his way. England bring it forward, looking for a fifth. Foden taking it on. Claimed that there was a foul on the edge of the penalty area, nothing given. And Malta are able to play out from the back with Borge, and it comes off Mbong and off an England player after that, Eze, for a throw, which will be taken on the Maltese right-hand side. We're in the final minute, Stuart. Job well done as far as England are concerned.
Oh, it certainly was. I think you go into this game, I sat in a press conference yesterday, I heard the press barking on about the players being fatigued, tired, but they've come out today from the first moment. Their attitude's been really good. They've scored 4 goals so far in the game. There's been a couple of good performances in there. I can't look through the team and think there's been a bad performance. It's been a workmanlike performance, and they've limited the opposition to near enough no shots, which is quite incredible.
Trippier, 20 seconds of the 3 additional minutes to go here on Talksport. And a reminder, England back in action on Monday and can get ever closer to the finals of the European Championships in Germany by beating North Macedonia. That would take them up to 12 points, and we reckon that would leave them only 3 short. Tonight, they've got the job done. You can only beat the side that faces you, but that is a night's work that has been comfortable in the extreme. Ahead inside the opening 10 minutes, 3 up with barely half an hour played. England able to take their foot off the gas. Trent Alexander-Arnold experiment in midfield worked a treat. Callum Wilson came off the bench to score his first goal in 5 years, and Jordan Pickford literally had nothing to do. Not a single shot to save. Very comfortable win for England, whose 100% record in this group continues. Malta away has been troublesome in the past. It wasn't tonight. Malta 0, England 4.
Well, job done, comfortable for England. And Group C, they are top with 9 points from 3 games. Also playing in this group right now, it is North Macedonia 2, Ukraine 3, and they're in the dying moments of that game as things stand. England top with 9 points from 3. Ukraine will go second, 3 from 2. Italy will be third, not playing this weekend. And then North Macedonia, who England play at Old Trafford on Monday night. All the full times to come. We'll go to Cardiff and we'll check in Copenhagen with Northern Ireland as well. But as the players applaud the fans who've made their way over, a very comfortable performance. Same scoreline as 6 years ago, but much better England performance here in Malta than it was back then. And Stuart Pearce, some real highlights in there. We're going to talk about Trent Alexander-Arnold, there's no doubt about that. I also want to mention, before we get cracking on Trent, Eberechi Eze came on and had so much energy. He was desperate to make an impression. He looked so excited to be playing for England, which is so good to see.
Well, I think what he done and what impressed me with him was he knew where to go to find space, you know, and he got on the ball. And listen, he'll be absolutely delighted. Your first cap for England, you never forget it. And he'll be pleased to play his part today coming off the bench in regard to that. 4-0, if you'd have asked me 4-0, no shots on our goal before the game, I'd have snapped your hand off.
Well, another one for Harry Kane in there as well. It all got underway with an own goal after a Saka cross, and Callum Wilson adding to Trent's goal. This is interesting. 15th of November 2018, Callum Wilson and Trent Alexander-Arnold scored against the USA, their first goals for England. Tonight, both of them scored their second goals for England in the same game. How spooky is that?
Well, the only thing that I find incredible out of that is the time lapse between the two. You know, it's incredible. Looking at the goals that the players have scored, I'm a little bit disappointed almost that we haven't got more players in double figures. That surprised me really in this squad.
Well, Raheem Sterling would be in there where he's fit, and he has obviously got double figures in goals. But I guess Gareth Southgate, although this was the oldest team I believe he's ever picked, is known for picking younger players.
Yes.
So they're going to be scoring fewer goals, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, but there's players in our ranks that have got a lot of caps to their names. You know, Hendo's got a lot of caps, Harry Maguire's got a lot of caps, and varying other players have certainly got a lot of caps to them, albeit of a youngish age, some of them.
With Trent, it's only the 6th time that Trent Alexander-Arnold has played 90 minutes in a competitive game. And for a player of his talent who made his England debut in 2018, I find that absolutely remarkable. But I wonder whether the reaction on the sports bar coming up after 10, on the weekend sports breakfast tomorrow morning from 6 with Mark Pugac and the former Ireland World Cup striker Tony Cascarino, I wonder, Stuart, whether the reaction will be, well, yeah, he looked good, but it was against Malta, or whether Gareth Southgate might get some praise for saying, yep, he started him in midfield, he is a midfielder, he was high energy, and he had a really positive impact, played really well, certainly in the first half and for much of the second half. He was comfortably, in my opinion, England's man of the match. But I wonder what that reaction will be.
Well, what tends to happen is people let things play out, then all of a sudden everyone will step forward and say, why hasn't Gareth Southgate done that in years gone by? Well, the reason why they haven't is because his form wasn't that good and other players were playing better than he were in those positions. Now, he's had the foresight, and credit to Trent for this. You know, Trent's not sort of got sulky that he's not been in the squad or in the team on occasion. He's here today and he's stepped into midfield and he's played really well. I think there's a plus on both sides. A, the selection's been right, and B, the players' mentality's been right.